Hi, and welcome to Everything Jenni podcast. I'm Jenni Bergen. This is a podcast about my knitting, sewing, and other crafty endeavors that I have. And I want to thank you for stopping in today and deciding to spend a little bit of your day with me. Whether you're a new viewer or a returning viewer, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to see what I'm up to. You could follow me on Ravelry. I do have a group on Ravelry. It's Everything Jenni, but I'm also book after book on Ravelry. On Instagram, I am everything_Jenni. And Facebook, I have a page, Everything Jenni, and I do have a website that is also Everything Jenni. And my Etsy shop. Don't forget to stop by and check out what's going on there at Everything Jenni. So today I'm in my craft room again, and so you can see I'm back in my original and normal hangout, and it's kind of an overcast, chilly day out today, and it's also Mother's Day. So I happened to get up early and get myself ready for the day before I go meet up with my mom and share in celebrating my mom and my mother-in-law. And today, I forgot, several weeks ago, I had a friend gift me this wonderful mug. So it's all I need is coffee and yarn, and it comes with this adorable little spoon that you can take out, and the inside, you can see here, is also orange to match the spoon, and I love it. And it is so true for me. All I need is coffee and yarn, and occasionally some fiber or some material for sewing, but definitely I travel everywhere that I go, in the car, Disneyland, you name it, I have yarn. And I am drinking heaps and heaps of coffee. So definitely true for me. So thank you, Cindy, and I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna definitely be drinking out of it all the time. Now, I have quite a bit of stuff to share with you today. Not so much in the works in progress or in the finished objects, but I do have quite a bit of other stuff to show you. Now, to start out, I am doing, and I think I mentioned this before, I am doing a shawl that is the pattern Midnight in Sydney. And it is by Meg Gadsby, Atelier Yarn and Design. And it calls for 330 to 350 yards of a fingering weight yarn. And the needle size is a 4.5 millimeter or a US 7 with 30 to 40 inches long, depending on what your preference is. And so I chose to do some yarn that is from Knitted Wit. And I believe I showed this when it was just the cake. And I've been working, and haven't made a lot of progress on it, but I have been working on it from time to time in between other projects. But this is Monet's Garden colorway in Knitted Wit sock weight yarn. And you can see how pretty and vibrant those colors are. And I was hoping to have a lot more progress by this point, honestly. But again, life got in the way. Sewing, my Etsy shop, everything kind of got in the way. So it got put on the back burner. And then you know how it is. And some projects that you haven't started or you didn't even know existed all of a sudden are so exciting and you want to get started. So that's kind of where I was at. But it's a fairly simple, easy to stitch. It's garter stitch with just the same repeat pattern for rows and rows and rows until we get to the end. And I'm obviously not there yet, so I'm still working on that. But that I absolutely love. And I'm using my carbons. So I'm using carbon circulars, and I am using the US 7. And it's working out great. So I have that as my first work in progress. And then I have the Georgia Belle shawl that is by Amanda Rios from my local yarn shop. She's one of the co-owners of the shop. And this here, hard to see there in this plastic, but you can see kind of what the shawl is. And this pattern is available for purchase on Ravelry. And I love it. So I haven't gotten very far on it. Again, excited about too many projects. However, I did start, and I'm using all Madeline Tosh sock yarn. So this is how I started, and it starts at one end of it. It's not a center starting shawl. So it starts at the one end, and you can see here, it just starts in the colorway that I'm using here is Pelican, the Madeline Tosh sock yarn in Pelican. And then it will also have these colors. So this is Glass Bottom Boat. And here it looks a little more blue here, but it's actually got a lot more of like a seafoamy green. And then the other two colors, this one I believe is Coquet d'Eau, and it's kind of a really deep kind of, I would say it's not showing up so well here, but it definitely is darker than this in this burgundy kind of beautiful colorway. And then the last one that will be in there is Electric. And this one is also darker than it's appearing here on camera, but it is going to be amazing together. I have posted about the colors on my Instagram and Facebook, so you may have seen that there. But I am working on that one, and I am going to actually make a lot of progress on that hopefully this week, because I've been excited about it and wanting to do it for so long. And I finally got the yarn and I was ready to start, and then my next project jumped out at me. And this one is the Budding Bluebells by Mina Phillip, and it's also available on Ravelry for purchase. And this one is beautiful, and I highly recommend it. It's very simple to knit. I saw it come up on Ravelry, and she started a knit along, and it's actually the Knitting Expat and, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but I will post it, who it is that are doing the knit along. And it started May 1st, but you have until June 30th to finish. And you can post chatter in one of the podcasters' Ravelry pages, and then you post your finished object in the other. And so I decided to start that. I ran over to my local yarn shop and I picked up some of my favorite yarn, always some of my favorite. I picked up some Material Culture Fiber Arts yarn in the Mongolian sock base, and it's the colorway April Showers. And so you can see kind of the dreary grays with those bright little pops of color. I love this colorway, this April Showers. So I've made some progress on it, and you can see my little trailer stitch marker there. And the other color that's actually going to go with this, let me show you the two cakes because they're amazing. So the Glass Bottom Boat from Madeline Tosh is going to be the accent on this one. And so the main body of the shawl is knit with the one color, and then the lace pattern on the bottom is knit, with the other. So I'm planning to put these two together and just have a fun, colorful, something that has a little bit toned down, but then really pops with that extra lacy pattern at the bottom. So I started working on that because I wanted to get involved in the knit along and be involved in opportunities for prizes. So I am working away on that one as well. And so I have all of those shawls in progress, and so there's quite a few. And I did, let's see, I also this last week finally picked back up my Coziest Memories blanket, and it is also an amazing fun pattern that I love. And I have knit, so I started way back when it may seem like forever ago that I started and stopped working on it. And these were all yarns I purchased, I used for other things, or I purchased, until I got to this one. And this was from a friend who was also doing a Coziest Memories blanket. And look at how that pattern turned out with that different fun yarn. And then this one was from a yarn that I had purchased back in Big Bear. So when I did my podcast about Big Bear, I finally got that square done. And I like how the colors turned out. It's still a fairly scratchy yarn, but I think that it'll soften up with some use. And then these two squares here are from another friend who's also doing a Coziest Memories blanket. And so she sent me these. And so this one was from my friend Jenni. And so then Jenni also, I believe, gave me these. And this might have been from Kyle, but I'm pretty sure. I know these are from Jenni, and I had lunch with Jenni a while back, and she's been working on hers, and so she sent me these, or gave them to me that day. So I just finally got them done. Yay! And then I am starting another square that you can see there in something that I had purchased. So all those fun yarns that I had purchased before, I'm finally getting to those. But I wanted to get some of the ones from friends done first. So I did make some progress there, and I have about 11, I believe, squares done. And then I'm hoping by next week to have the width that I'm going to go with and have that done. And then the length will just be as I progress. I'll decide how far I'm going to go and when I'm going to stop. And this week, I only have 2 finished objects to share with you. I have, and I believe I've shared this before, it might have been on my sock blockers, but I've got them off of my sock blockers. So this is my socks that I finished. Boop. So I have my socks. This is the one where I wrote the pattern myself for a shorty sock, and I love it. And my husband loves it and has asked for a pair. So I know that I mentioned, I think, that I was working on a pair for him. So I'm getting those done, and I'm almost done with his. It's just right there to the toe, and so I just have to finish that sock. And otherwise, this was also knit in Material Culture Fiber Arts, and it was the Poppy Fields colorway, and it was the Modern Era sock base, and it is really soft, and I love it. And when I washed it, it bled a little bit, but not a whole lot when I did the soak. And I did on this particular pattern the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. So in the pattern that I wrote, I've also written it to have a short row heel. So for anyone that doesn't want to purchase the Fish Lips Kiss Heel, it's only $1 in Ravelry, and I highly recommend it. But should you not want to purchase it, the pattern for my socks will be on Ravelry today. I'm working on getting that up, excuse me, and posted. So I should have that pattern available today. And at the very, very latest, it would be available tomorrow. So I'm excited about this. And this pattern, I believe I am putting up for $1.50. And I absolutely loved the process. And I am already working on a pattern for another pair of socks that have some more patterning to them. So this is just my really simple favorite classic vanilla shorty socks. So nothing really drastic about it. But I did want a regular no frills sock pattern, and so that's what I came up with. So if you're interested, it's going to be on Ravelry, and you can look that up. And I am book after book, and so remember, if you want to purchase it, it'll be under book after book, and I'll also post it to my Ravelry group, Everything Jenni. The other finished object that I finished this week for my mom. I finished a Stephen West shawl, and this one is the Little Colonnade. Excuse me. And you can see it's not a real big, really long or anything. It's going to be more of a kind of a scarf wrap for my mom. But this is that yarn that I shared with you a while back that I really wanted to get something done for Laguna Beach. After getting started on something for myself, I decided that my mom is the biggest fan of Laguna Beach, and it reminds me so much of Laguna and the colors and the sand and the water and the cliffs, and I thought that it would be perfect for her. So I went ahead and decided to make it for Mom, and you can see she'll be able to wear it wrapped. It's a little difficult with all my hair right now, but she'll be able to wear it wrapped around like this if she chooses. And it's a little bit longer that I could probably wrap it and have just a light covering, but that might not work for Mom. Mom likes a little bit more coverage. So I did finish that, and I'm planning to give that to her today for Mother's Day. So you can see the finished product here. And this Stephen West pattern, it's probably the easiest pattern I've ever done by Stephen West. Very simple, easy to follow. Definitely not complicated. You're not changing yarn a bunch of times. There's not anything except the simple increases. And it obviously it starts at the center and increases, has the spine, and then the kind of lace edge to it. So that is my little colonnade. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I was about to have a sneezing attack. So I'm excited to give this to Mom today. So she will be receiving this when we attend lunch today. So we'll see how that goes. And that's the only thing that I have actually finished right now that I have up here to share with you in my craft room. And my casting on, I'm not casting on anything new this week because I do have all those shawls as works in progress that I would like to finish before I start to cast on. And my yarn purchases, I think it's been a while since I shared yarn purchases with you. So this I don't believe I shared, but if I did, please forgive me. It's been so long I can't remember. This is Jitterbug. And the colorway I cannot find. So, but this is a sock weight yarn. And I loved how it reminds me of like a mint chip ice cream. So it's got a lot more of the green to it than it's showing here in this bright light. But it really reminded me of mint chip ice cream with maybe a little cherry. And so I love this. It's got some deep purples, some deep greens, and then some burgundy pink kind of colors, and then that minty green. And it's really soft, so I'm not sure what it's going to become yet. It hasn't really spoken to me and what it wants to be yet, but it's definitely going to be something. And I mentioned a while back, I thought I had missed the yarn crawl, but I didn't. So I made it to the yarn crawl, and I didn't hit any stores except my local yarn shop because I found so much that I wanted there that I didn't need it to go anywhere else. So I purchased this Republic of Wool, and this is the colorway Burnt Butterscotch. And oh, it's so yummy, these gold tones and the browns. This is going to be a sock that I am designing, and I will share it with you when I am ready for it. But it's going to be based on one of my favorite bands. And so it'll have something to do with their name in my title of socks. So I'm going to work on that hopefully sooner than later, and I will share that new pattern with you. And then I purchased, again, some of my favorite yarn, Material Culture Fiber Arts. This is the Mongolian sock yarn, and this is Ruby Slippers. And I love the Wizard of Oz. And so I also love these colors, and I thought that this would be perfect. And I am thinking it's going to become a shawl, but I am not 100% sure yet. And so I will have to let that also sit and kind of percolate and come up with what it's going to be. I haven't found just the right thing for it yet. And then the last one that I purchased, and this is going to be my first time using this yarn, so I'm very excited, is Hedgehog Fibers. And this one is a sock yarn, and the colorway is Bramble. And oh, it's so awesome. And I'm thinking that this is going to become a pair of socks for myself. So I'm not sure if I'll do the shorties yet or if I'll make a regular length sock for myself. But it's definitely going to be something exciting with something for myself again. So those were the yarns that I actually purchased. But that's not all that I purchased. I have, at that particular event, I also bought from Material Culture Fiber Arts. This is 100% superfine merino, and it's a braid, and you can see these fun colors here that I am going to spin, and I am really excited about spinning this color and just seeing what it creates. I love all the different tones and colors in it, and it's soft, and I love this fiber. I also, at this event, got to work on creating my own bats. So Material Culture Fiber Arts, Tria, brought her stuff and let us, for a small fee, create our own bats. So I am addicted. It was amazing, and oh my gosh, I absolutely loved it. So my first one that I created is in these yummy it's a tan and with some fiery orange and this yellow, bright yellow color. And you can see all the different variations that I've gotten in there that I created, and then I will be able to spin from this. So I'm really excited and looking forward to that. And oh, it's so squishy, and I love this. So I am really excited about spinning with that. The other one I did has a lot more, I believe it's Angora and kind of silk in it, and it's really, really fine. So this one is the other colorway that I did, and it's kind of more grays and lavender, and then this kind of teal turquoisey kind of color that you can see in there. And then there are little pops of white. And again, really soft, really squishy, and going to be something very exciting to spin with. So I am still working with my drop spindle and loving it. So I am going to be using these to do my drop spindle. I also purchased, and this I believe is from the flying-sheep-pink.com. So flying-sheep-pink.com. This is their little card. And this is just an undyed BFL fiber. And it's undyed. And I believe I ordered a pound of BFL. And the reason I did is because I want to spin it, and I want to try using some natural, old-fashioned, very Native American, Mayan, Aztec times methods for dyeing. And I want to do that in a very natural way and use some natural colors and some natural things from maybe picking up from my hikes, or picking up even from my yard, some different things that could create colors for me. And I want to dye it myself. So I didn't want to go the route of super chemicals, and I didn't want to go something super dangerous and something I need a special area for. This I can just do right outside with a little kind of hot pot, and I can use natural materials and just use the simple pots and things that I've picked up along the years that don't really have a purpose in my house, and I love them and they're cute, and so I'll just use those to start dyeing some yarn for myself. And if I like the process, I'll continue with some natural dyeing, and I may even decide to add some natural dyed fibers to my shop if all goes well. So we'll see. Not 100% sure that it'll be fantastic yet, but we'll see how it goes. But I am excited to go ahead and spin this. But it's a pound of fiber, so I will probably spin it into smaller batches and try some different colors, different techniques, and see how it goes. And so I will definitely keep you posted and let you know how the natural dyeing process works. Still with spinning, I don't believe that I shared with you last time the first fiber that I had ever done spinning was, I believe it's Corriedale, and this is kind of the brown natural color, and you can see the difference in how I've spun it, and it definitely gets better as I have gone. So I am now, these are in some little cakes, and I am ready to knit them into something. Not sure what yet, but it'll be something fun for the house. And the next one that is ready to be plied, that first one I'm just going to leave as a single ply. But this one here, I have finally put into a very large cake, and it's some wool and kind of those bright colors, those northern lights, electric colors. And so this one is going to be plied with a silk that is kind of in the plum colorway. And I am excited to do my first ply with that. So we'll see how it goes and if I like it, and we'll see how easy it is. And I will keep you posted. So far, I've only made things that are a single ply, and then they're ready to be plied, but I haven't plied anything. So we're still working on that. And let's see, I think those are all of my fiber spinning and yarn-based projects. So I have been super excited about sewing lately. And I have found a designer that I absolutely love, and I feel a kinship. I have very similar tastes, very similar styles with the Dottie Angel prints. So Dottie Angel isn't always available, but she has several books. Then some of them are out of print, and I was lucky enough to find one, and oh my gosh, it is amazing. It is definitely all these things that I find to be amazing and so in my style, and farmhouse and vintage, and taking vintage materials and creating things that have special purposes and meanings, and oh, it's amazing. So what I've done is I purchased a pattern and I altered it slightly. I created my Dottie Angel frock, and I did post this on Instagram, so if you haven't seen it, you can see it there. But it has these little capped sleeves. Her pattern, the front and back are the exact same length. I lengthened the back on mine because I liked the higher back coming up. And I still have a tag that I'm going to put on here that's really cute, but just signifies that I made it for myself. And you can see here on her dress pattern, let me take it off the hanger first. All of the seams are encased with bias. So it wasn't an absolute necessary thing, but I loved it. And I thought, this is amazing. And I don't have those frayed edges, and I don't have an overlock or serger, and I didn't want to take the time on my machine. And currently I'm using my 1938 Singer Featherweight to sew everything because it's so simple and easy and so vintage, and I love it. I just love the feel of it, and it makes me excited to want to actually sew things. So I got this done, and you can see the contrasting pocket there, and the pockets were adorable. And again, just the little contrasting bias. The side seams in this dress are French seams. And so you can see here that you stitch it. It's kind of awkward to stitch a French seam because you're putting the wrong side together and stitching, and it seems like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. But you stitch it, and then you put it off to the side and iron it down, and then turn it inside out and give it another stitch, and you have this beautifully encased seam there. And you don't have the fraying, you don't have the overlock serger problem, and you have this incredibly smooth and soft against your body seam there that will not come unraveled inside the dress. And then again, the bias tape for the bottom hem. And it has a couple of darts up here that you can see. When I did it, I did follow the pattern for that, but because I do have a little bit more in my bust, I have decided that on the next few dresses that I do, I'm going to lower that just about an inch. and that will create a little bit more of the tuck under instead of right at. It feels a little bit like it smashes down just a little bit. And then it does have this tie in the back, and that's done out of the same material. And you could always do your pockets out of the same material, but she does them out of contrasting materials, and so I found contrasting materials. It is the most comfortable, just light and airy dress, and I'm actually going to wear it today to Mother's Day for the luncheon that we're attending. So I love it, and you could pair it with cropped jeans or leggings, or you could wear it solo. It just has so many versatile moves. I know a lot of people posted online when I was looking for other people's input on the dress that they felt that the sleeves were going to be huge, and they kind of altered their sleeves as they went. But what I found for myself is that if you actually do the French seam, the sleeves come out perfect. And so a lot of those people were doing just a quick down and dirty seam, or they were doing a serged seam, just that overlock stitch. Then in that case, it's not going to be a perfect sleeve. It's going to be too big and gap right down in here. So, but doing the French seam, it comes out perfect. And I would highly recommend that. There are so many variations that you can make to this dress. And so I've already started, I've cut out other material. I've already started actually with several other alterations to the dress. But I think the thing that I'm gonna keep is definitely keeping the higher back. I, for myself, prefer the scoop is great in the front, but in the back, I really like it to come up higher on my neck. So I'm going to keep that. And then, like I said, I'm going to still keep the French seams and the bias tape over, to encase the seams. I'm going to stick with all of that. And I do love the pockets. I might try a few that have the same material. I know that I'm going to try one that you'll see next time that's going to have some doilies for pockets. And I've tried to go with this one I just bought because it was an inexpensive fabric on sale. And the thing I love is you can buy the material for this that she uses is a cotton, just a quilter's cotton. And so you can buy fun and interesting prints and things like that. And it, depending on the one you buy, you obviously want to kind of check it before you buy it. You don't want one that is super stiff. You want it to be something that is easy to work with and it will drape okay. And the variations that she has with this is to change the bottom, have a different bottom with the top with a different pocket, and then also to have kind of just a longer top. And so I'm working on that next, and we'll see how that goes. And then the other one that I found while looking for these patterns, I found another top that I love. And this one's definitely more of like a farm girl frock that you would wear to work out in the yard or, you know, to do different things. It kind of almost replaces the apron. And this one is, it's a simplicity pattern, as well as the Dottie Angel frock was a simplicity pattern. But this one is Lazy Daisy Jones, and it's a top, and she has dresses and things that you can do with it. And she does an encased border here at the neck. The only thing that I didn't like about this particular one that I will alter is that I did the measurements for the medium and it turned out huge. The neck is very big, gaps down here, but I do love the two-tone to have a kind of the baseball sleeve on there. And you can see here, this one has a pocket that you can have, I believe it's 4 pockets end up across the front. So each of these little dips is a pocket all the way across. And it doesn't have anything to pull it tight. It just hangs. So I, again, chose some fun quilters material and stitched that. And it was a quick, easy stitch. The pattern does not call for any of the sleeves to be encased. So they're just folded over thin edging. So fold over, hem, or iron, and then fold over and iron, and then hem it up. That is on the typical edges. Inside, there was no encased seam. There's no French seam in the sleeve, so I left that. But in the sides, you can see here in the side of this that I decided I wanted the side seams to be French seams. So I did that French seam that just gets it encased in there, and then it's left to be, beautiful, and you don't have so much going on in there. So I did that, and I believe otherwise I kept everything the same. The only thing with this one is that it did come out quite large, and I am looking at making a size smaller, I believe, in the next one, so that I don't have the big gap in the neck. I mean, it comes way out on the shoulders and then scoops really low. But I loved the sleeves. I just wanted it to come a little bit higher all the way around so that it didn't kind of gap up on me. And the sides were so big that I was looking to tie something to help pull it in and not make it look so, I guess, maternity. But I did love it, and I'm going to do another one, and I'm finding that they're very comfortable to wear around the house, just wear around. Even the Dottie Angel frock is something definitely I wear out and I love. So I am all for those patterns, and I'm going to make some alterations and see what I can come up with. In the realm of art this week, I don't have anything to share with you for you to see, but I am getting ready to take a camping trip, and my husband and I are looking to create traveling art boxes. And so he's working on some patterns for me. In the meantime, I'm getting some art supplies together so that I can take some art. I plan to take, if I can fit everything in, I'm going to be gone a week. So I'm going to take my sewing machine and maybe sew some things. I'm going to be by the river, so I'm just going to have this beautiful sound going on. Maybe sew some things. I'm going to definitely take my knitting. I may take some spinning. I'm a little nervous about taking the drop spindles and having them possibly break in transport. So I'm not 100% sure I'll take some spinning yet. But I definitely am going to take knitting. And I am definitely going to take some art supplies. So I have my easel, and I'm packing, and I'm going round and round and round on trying to come up with what is going to be best for my packed trip. And I don't want to take everything in the kitchen sink. So I'm looking to probably just take some oils, some water-based oils, and I'm going to try and play around with that a little bit. And my husband is going to give me some lessons on plein air painting. So he's been doing some plein air painting when we travel, and I am really excited to give it a shot. I am a little nervous. It's a new adventure. I am able to create something from a picture, but to actually sit and do it very quickly and whip it out, it's going to be a little challenging for me. So we'll see how it goes. I'm up for the challenge. I'm up to try anything. So we'll definitely be doing that this week. Getting that ready, I mean. And then I don't have, this week in my shop, the things that I have recently posted, I posted about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And so I have what I have left in the new stuff that I posted. I currently have these items, but a few things have sold. I believe these 2 items will be getting shipped out later today. So I'm back to my Earth Day bags, and I still have some of my other DPN holders. So all of my DPN holders that I currently have are, those are the most current that I have. I am working on some new shop medium-sized bags and some small bags. and those are going to be getting posted hopefully this week in my shop, as well as I'm working on a tote bag. So you can have a tote bag with actual handles. So that'll be coming to the shop. But for now, there's a few bags available and a few, well, still several DPN holders for your DPNs. And I found that they also work great for my circular needles. So when I have a project on there that is not going all the way around the circular and I'm keeping it something simple at the top, I just put them in there and I snap it in so that, excuse the peacocks. I have peacocks in my neighborhood. It's a little crazy. But the cases I find I use most often for DPNs, but I do use them when I'm going to do a project that's a simple, often I do socks on DPNs and I'll do one sock at a time instead of the two at a time. But I do use that to put the case in there so I don't lose stitches. So those are things to think about. And let's see, I'm currently not on a, I don't have any swaps I'm doing in the postcards right now. I'm going to be involved in another swap coming up, but I don't have any currently going on. And I think we've covered, let's see, fiber and yarn and FOs. I think I've gotten everything covered. So some more sewing projects that I have this week that are just for personal for me. I'm going to be making, I have a kind of what we call an Easy Up, but it's not really the brand Easy Up. It is a instant canopy that's a shade canopy, and it's by Coleman. It doesn't have sidewalls when you purchase it, and so it just has the top canopy. When I'm camping, I've discovered that a lot of times the sun obviously moves, but your campsite is not always set up in an ideal situation that you get the sun at the side or at the back, and so then you lose your shade as the sun moves across the sky. You are losing all that shade. So for myself, I like to have that shade, and then at night, if I want, I can kind of close it off and have a little bit more of an area that it's a little more privacy, but it's also a little, sometimes it's for the shade in the day and sometimes for the wind protection at night. So I am creating with some burlap and some white gauzy fabric and some other patterned fabric, I'm creating some sidewalls. It's going to be very patchwork quilt kind of look, and it should be pretty exciting. I'm going to try and at least get one wall done. I'm taking my mom, and so we're going to have 2 tents set up with the canopy in the middle. So that kind of takes care of 2 walls, and then we have 2 walls exposed. And so at least one of them, I would like to be able to get something up as a protection. And then on the other one is where we'll be able to see the river. So we may or may not want to put something up there. It'll just depend. And so I'm going to be working on that on my sewing machine this week. I have a few more sewing projects that are going to take place, and I definitely have some more project bags coming. So I kind of have a busy week. And we'll see what I can get posted in the shop this week. I want to try and get a shop update before I do take my trip. And then I'll leave my husband in charge of mailing, so that should be pretty good. And otherwise, I want to thank you for stopping by this week. Oh, I do have one more thing I wanted to share. So recently, and I cannot remember where I first heard about this, but recently I found out about a book that just came out this year, and it's called How to Be a Wildflower, a Field Guide by Katie Daisy. And so this is the book, and I love this book. It is amazing. It is filled with her artwork, but it's filled with little quotes. It has, like here, all good things are wild and free, Henry David Thoreau. And then she's done it in her fun, artistic style. And then it's filled with also little tips about poisonous plants, and take time to marvel at the mountains, and take time to visit national forest or seashores, or things like that. And it's kind of one of those inspirational little books. And it has little tips on how to purify water when you're out camping. And so just filled with all of these fun little things. And then she has even like making a strawberry pie from scratch. So the recipe's in there. It's amazing. It's just all of these fun little tidbits and facts and, you know, things that you want to find a way to just kind of be, sometimes be at one with nature, but also be a little more in tune with your environment and be a little more open to the possibilities and the things that are out there. So I absolutely love this. I have decided that I too am a wildflower. I love, 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 love all of the artwork she has, all of the fun, interesting facts. She has a camping list. She has a backpacking little hiking list. She has, like I said, quotes, and it's kind of just what she calls a field guide and something to just look through and know these birds and, you know, know these plants, and it's got the plants that are poisonous plants that you need to be aware of. And so it's a hardcover book. I went ahead and ordered mine on Amazon and had it shipped next day because it was only a difference of a couple dollars. So it arrived. I've been looking at it and I'm loving it. And it's leading me to be inspired to not only create my own artwork, but leading me to be inspired on some creative writing. So that's an exciting endeavor. And so this is a definite recommend. It's Katie Daisy and How to Be a Wildflower. So that's my last thing for today. And just take time this week to be a wildflower, be inspiring to people, be inspiring to yourself. Find something that really truly inspires you and be moved and touched and just sit and relax and enjoy a day of where you can take it all in. And otherwise, I hope to see you next time. Thanks for stopping by, and I am looking forward to sharing all of my adventures with you in the next podcast. Hugs.